Hello and welcome back to the podcast. Today we're here with Owen and Dan. How are you guys?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
I am doing great.
Good. In today's podcast, we'll be discussing and reviewing the brand new thriller and comedy I Care a Lot, directed by Jay Blakeson and starring...
Comedy or a comedy?
Comedy. That's what I said, right?
Yeah, that was fine.
Exactly, Dan.
Carry on, Billy. Carry on.
So it was directed by Jay Blakeson and it stars Rosamund Pike and Peter Dinklage.
I think you mean Rosamund Pike and Peter Dinklage.
Yeah.
But yeah, he had the right idea.
Okay, so I literally just watched it today, but Owen, you watched it.
Yes.
When did you watch it?
I watched it last Friday when it came out.
Oh, Owen watched it when it first came out. So what was your first opinions on it? And
I had a lot of anticipation, a lot of hype for this film. The trailer was really great. So and obviously it stars Rosamund Pike. But I would say I've seen this film for like top 10 actresses, just sort of like how good they are at acting.
Yeah.
Obviously we're with this in Gone Girl. We'll talk about that a bit later. But I really like this film. I think it's a very good film. People are just hating on it a bit too much because I saw they kept saying like, the protagonist is a bit too unlike, she's not likable at all. But like that's the point of the film.
Yeah.
They're not meant to be likable, and it's such a strong character who is totally consistent, I think, throughout, and she really makes you hate her and then sort of sympathize with her a little bit and hate her again. I think she's a really fascinating character to like look into, and just how she presents herself and everything. And overall, I think the story's pretty great. But there are like, a few plot holes, but I think it's a pretty good movie and a pretty great story.
Dan, when did you see this movie?
So I saw this on Monday, and
and what do you think of it?
Well, it was a good film, and I don't think I've ever hated anyone more from a film than in I Care a Lot, because she.
Makes sense.
I mean,
still to agree from the old.
I mean, this is a spoiler thing, so spoiler warning or whatever. But so in you know how you say like you hate then sympathise with her. I never sympathised with her once. When she cracked, I wanted her to drown and burn at the same time and be poisoned. I just I wished death upon this woman at every stage of the film, because I like the greatest character is the one at the end that shoots her.
That's some very strong opinions. Finley, your thoughts, please.
Well, I've just recently saw this film, and I would say I definitely enjoyed it because it's got similarities to Gone Girl. Well, it's the same. I enjoyed Gone Girl, and it's got the same actress, but she has the same she's like got the same sort of character in Gone Girl. Like a psychopath. Yeah. But this one's more like less psychopath, but more like
I think the right word. Is it like nihilistic? I think the word is.
Takes advantage of people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And like Dan was saying, I did not feel simplistic for her throughout the whole entire film. Like when she messed with the wrong people, I wished she just didn't manage to make a deal and actually got, punished for what she did. I mean, I felt so bad when she was just randomly stealing money off these people. The fact that she just took these people as like objects, because she has them all on her wall, and they died, they're gone, they don't matter. It's the money that she only cares about.
She views people as like business opportunities, nothing more.
Yeah. And I feel like the director mainly focused on the two couples to see if you could feel simplistic for them, because they got beat up and they tried to recover from all of it.
Yeah.
But you just didn't. You sort of just felt happy that it got beat up because of even though the who plays the villain, the small guy.
Peter Dinklage.
Peter Dinklage.
Peter Dinklage.
Peter. Yeah. People want to people probably wanted you to hate Peter as well as
no.
Oh, I'd say you would, because
I think
he's a villain.
no, I think he wanted you to
beaten
hate
up.
everybody because there's no good person in this film. They're all very corrupt people, and
Yeah.
I think I've just looked up now. Marla Grayson, who's the main character, is a very nihilistic person. Her views in the world is you have to be ruthless and strict and really organized and just like really.
You can't be weak.
You can't be weak,
move
otherwise
on.
you're gonna not survive in the world.
Yeah,
and she
exactly.
thinks she's above everyone else. She has much authority anywhere, and
Money
this is why.
the main focus of
Yeah.
her life that controls her.
And you were saying how you have no sympathy for her, both of you.
Yeah.
And I feel like I found her super annoying as well, but I think I liked how whenever she's defeated or faces like someone opposes her, there's a certain joy you get from that. I think one of the most significant scenes is when she's in an old person's home visiting Peter Dinklage's mother, and she knows she's in trouble, and you sort of see her getting like picked apart by this old woman and get slowly destroyed by her, and sort of breaking her down, and that sort of I think makes one of the more like interesting aspects of the film that we don't see more often.
Oh.
Okay, and yeah.
What I find quite interesting about the film is there's not really kind of a central protagonist. It's more kind of, so you have obviously Peter Dinklage's character, like the mob boss, and then you've got kind of Rosamund Pike, who's kind of like the psycho character. And it's quite interesting that like you're never really told like who to root for.
Yeah.
So like throughout the film, you're constantly kind of changing between like who's basically less evil. But I think that's kind of reinforces the film's downfall, because I feel like in the second half of the film, they just made both characters just so unlikable.
Yes.
That like
I agree.
you never really know like what to say, because you have in the first half you've got Peter Dinklage and his mother, and that's obviously like the emotional connection they have. But I feel like because that was discarded in like the second or third act, that you haven't got you're never really rooting for Peter Dinklage, because he's not like fighting for anything anymore, because she's basically lined off to an asylum or something.
I feel like that's also like, the way the film sets it up at the start is that Peter Dinklage is the only character. He's all like really corrupt, but he has a bit of sympathy and emotion to him because of obviously the mother aspect. But then when they join forces at the end, that whole stuff about his mother just completely thrown away.
Yeah.
Like, and just ignored. I feel like a more satisfying conclusion would have been, I don't know, maybe if it was like Peter Dinklage who shot her at the end, or something along those lines. It would have been a bit stupid, but something like among those lines, I think would have been a bit more
I just felt like it was like the beginning was basically pointless, because his mother going into the care home, I mean, yeah, like drove the plot forward, but it didn't have any effect on the end. I felt like they could have completely rewritten the third act and it would have been just as good, probably better, just because they'd have had the emotional connection to it.
You know that the main antagonist didn't have any sympathy for anyone when she was in the interrogation and they were talking about, he was like, oh, is this your mother? Oh, once I kill you, I'll come for her. And then she goes, oh, I don't like, you can go kill that, was he a sociopath or something? Really shows how, she just doesn't care for anyone except from probably her girlfriend.
I mean, it also shows, I think that's something that should have been explored a bit more. Like, why does she think this way? A bit more like character depth or character exploration would be like really more appreciated, I think. I feel like, in my opinion, the first act is probably the strongest because it sets out, it has those satisfying moments I was talking about earlier when she's getting sort of like her place on this podium is getting taken away because now she knows she's in trouble and this is going to affect her. And we, as the audience, enjoy that because she's finally getting what she deserves for once.
Yeah.
And it's quite comforting seeing her world crumble around her, but slowly. But she's still like trying to maintain this perfect image and trying to show she has to be in control all the time.
Yeah.
And she's trying to maintain that control, but it's slowly slipping away from her.
I feel like because of that, the film was quite there was quite big like tonal shifts in the film, but not really in terms of like funny or whatever. Like I personally never found the film funny at pretty much any point, even though it's been classed in the comedy category, and Rosamund Pike has got nominated for a Golden Globe for a comedy actor. I'd never found it like, not even like
you could say the style of filming.
I think
comedic.
Maybe the I'm gonna kill you now.
But not
when she's getting kidnapped. That could be quite comedic.
Well, just the fact they cast Peter Dinklage as a mob boss.
Yeah.
I don't know how well that works, but
I think it was great. I think it was really, really good performance there.
Yeah.
He smashed it. I think her sort of power and authority is reinforced through the cinematography and how she's framed. So in my opinion, this is like really amazing cinematography. Like each color is so bright and vibrant, and really work the whole flashy sort of world she lives in. I think one of my favorite shots is when she's at the door of Peter Dinklage's mother in the film, and I don't know what it is. It's just her clothes are always so bright. She has to stand out. She's shown her authority over all these other like office workers wearing brown, grey and whatever. And also her vape. I don't know what you guys interpreted from her vape. But I think there's something to do with like smoking, not really smoking, stuff like that. But like sort of trying to keep up with the whole trend of vaping, stuff like that.
I didn't really read into that much. But another thing with kind of the cinematography is, I mean, I guess it's also to do with like tonal shifts, but a lot of it kind of, you couldn't really tell if they were trying to be kind of absurd and like just like totally unrealistic, or if they were trying to keep as realistic as possible, because you've obviously got the really bright colors and stuff which kind of indicate, I guess, like hallucinations or something, or just like something
delusional, you know, like she's delusional to the outside.
So obviously she's got, when she's in that room, she's got all the pictures of all these old people on the wall, and obviously she's kind of like trapping them in these care homes. And that's like because that's like a genuine issue in like America. Like that can happen, and you can legally appoint guardians. So in that term of
wait, can you do that?
100%.
Can you do it in America, in UK or not?
I don't.
Probably not as extreme, as straightforward.
But obviously that's kind of like obviously really like realistic. But then you've got like a scene of her escaping from a car like it's just been driven into water after crashing into a tree, and it's just like
how she kicks the window in the water.
I mean, like, unless she's had like survival training, like no one's gonna realistically be able to do that.
Of course she has. That's the whole point. She's the lioness apparently. She's the predator. She knows how to survive.
Yeah, but like they haven't like proved that. Like she's
they don't have to. That's the whole point. The whole point she can get through any situation because she's strong-willed, and that's just like it's just like normal for her to do that.
Well, off of that, then, do you think this film has a sort of like feminist message because it's like empowering women, or?
Well, you know how she always said, when people threaten me, it's either they just don't like a woman beating them, and this whole like thing of that she's not beaten through the whole entire film, and then right at the end she was finally beaten by the guy that at the start who was sort of saying, just because you're a man doesn't mean you're empowering me.
It's interesting. I've been reading some reviews on this from on Letterboxd, stuff like that. Half of the people saying, I really like the whole strong, empowered women aspect of the film. Other people saying how sort of it's sort of portraying women as these sort of vile creature kind of thing. And I see people say like, people are only hating on this character because she's a woman, and vice versa, and how it's like
no.
And I'm like
the attitude she has.
People are hating on this woman because she is just a horrible person in general. That's the whole reason. There's nothing more than that. But I guess there is an aspect of she's trying to prove the film's trying to because there's a whole pay gap thing and inequality with women and gender roles, and they're trying to push past this in this film, I think. But it's not the focus of the film. It's just an aspect of it. I think the focus of it is a corrupt legal system, I think.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, what this appears to be is like sort of a heightened version of reality, of American reality. There are people like this, but they're not as malicious as this, or they are, but they're not getting involved with the Russian mafia. It's just showing sort of what could happen, but it won't happen because the legal system's too, I think, corrupt. I think that's what they're trying to say anyway. That's how I interpreted it. So obviously, Rosamund Pike also starred as a psychopath in Gone Girl by David Fincher in 2014. That's one of my favorite Finchers. I feel like this only proves to me that she's amazing at playing these psychopathic characters, and I feel like, I don't know, which character do you guys prefer? I kind of prefer the Gone Girl character a little bit more, I think. I want to see what you guys thought.
But I'll be honest, I like them both. They're both sort of the same character.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I feel like the Gone Girl character had a bit more obvious weaknesses, I think. But I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, she did. And she tried to act strong, but really she was really weak. That's why she came back.
If by prefer you mean kind of which character, because I like they're obviously most hateable characters, but as I said at the beginning, like the one in I Care a Lot is like my most hated character. Like I despise her, so I'd definitely say that's a better developed character. Well, it's not really a development, but it's a better character for making you hate them. So I'd say I Care a Lot.
I actually just had a bit of a brainwave when you said weaknesses of the Gone Girl character, because I've noticed whenever she's in danger, she's actually like experiencing human danger. Like you'd expect like sort of a psychopath when they're getting strangled like she was with a plastic bag to try and stay all composed, but she just shows that she's genuinely terrified in the moment. And that sort of, I think that sort of, there must be something about like it's all talk or whatever, but like you can't uphold your perfect image when you're in these type of situations.
You can say the same with the car crash. She's like panicking in the water, but when she gets out, she's all like, "Oh, it was just nothing." But really, in the car, she's panicking.
I think that's quite clear, especially with that scene that you mentioned with the plastic bag, because there's obviously lines in there like, "Are you not afraid of death?" and stuff like that. So that kind of shows.
She obviously is, but she's trying to hide it.
Yeah. It shows her kind of just deceiving ability, kind of, and just her whole the whole nature of her character as being.
But her character does that to intimidate, the Peter. He does that just to intimidate them, so then they don't...
She's trying to bring him down, like she's destroyed so many other of her clients, but he's also as strong-willed as her. Obviously, this changed at the end, but it's like more of a mental battle between the two, I think. Like a battle of egos and
another thing at the end of the film, which is quite interesting, is so they have this agreement and they're like, "Oh, we'll both be co-founders," and then they start this business. But then in the news report, they kind of list her as like it was like the single founder or something.
Oh, so, really? Did they?
Yeah. So I wonder if you knew of any kind of like implications of that. And what
I thought the exact same thing, and what I thought when I said that was that I thought. I think Peter Dinklage's character was sort of maybe killed off screen. I think it's heavily implied that something like that did happen, or maybe he was just like, or maybe she got enough money to like fire him or something like that and take care of his goons or like put him away in jail, because obviously it does say co-founder and then founder. But I think I'm glad she got what she deserved at the very end. But I feel like the editing of that part was a bit messy. I don't know if you guys noticed that. It's like a lot of straight cuts between the two, and it sort of broke up the flow that the film had going for it. But
I feel like to improve that, they should have just kind of had, from the point of view of the man with the gun, they should have had his, or just like portrayed the whole of his anger in that final scene rather than because I disagree with that. But get carrying. So I guess they try and make, but like by cutting in between the two, you obviously like see the conflict between them. But they're also like, he's evil, but then like, she started this whole company, and it's like kind of like fighting between the two, rather than instead of just focusing on this one guy and all his anger, and just obviously, I guess just built, because he appears at the beginning and appears right at the end, so it's like building up this entire film to then the ultimate climax of her being shot.
It felt a bit rushed at the end. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like she has to die somewhere to get what she finally deserves. And let's bring back the old guys and say, "Oh, my mother died," and that explains it, and the film ends.
Yeah,
I feel like they could be a bit more. They could be a bit more smart with how she died in that sense.
Yeah,
but I think it was a pretty good ending. I think a very satisfying ending for people like you, Danny, who despise her.
Yeah. I like that ending.
All right, I think that's going to be coming to an end to this podcast. Before we go, I'm going to get reviews from Owen and Dan and myself, but I'm going to go to Owen first. Owen, what rating would you give this film before we go?
So, at the start of the week, this is very similar to Malcolm and Marie actually. At the start of the week, when I first watched it, I gave it like an 8.5 out of 10 because I really liked it. Now, I would say after thinking about it a little bit, and there are some plot holes we haven't really discussed it yet, but I can't really think of them off the top of my head. But I'd probably say around an 8 or a 7.5 now. But it's still
really?
I think it's one of the best films of 2021 so far.
Yeah, definitely. Dan, what rating would you give it?
So mine's stayed consistent throughout. I'd give it an 8 out of 10, just because. I mean, that's the same rating I gave to Gone Girl. Just kind of the similarities that there are between the films is obviously very clear with the same actor in that. And I think, I think Rosamund Pike does a great job as an actor. Does, yeah. Maybe not a comedy actor for the Golden Globe, but as a kind of a thriller actor, she's great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. And Finley, quickly from you.
I would definitely give it an 8.5. Obviously, I do like Gone Girl because they're the same actress in it. I liked the plot of it. It was interesting. It was engaging. It was a nice plot, and there was quite a lot of twists and stuff like that. But a good 8.5 for me.
Cool. Okay.
All right. That's going to be the end of the podcast. Thank you for watching. Not watching, listening.
Check out the other podcasts on the channel.
Check out the other podcasts if you're listening.
Subscribe,
and leave suggestions and comments. We're trying to hit a sub goal of 50 subscribers by the end of this month.
That'll take a while, but okay.
We got a surprise for you for 50 subs.
We got a big surprise for you for 50 subs.
It's really exciting stuff, honestly. So you should stay.
If you come from Instagram, suggest it to other mates, and thank you for listening.
All right. See ya.
Bye.
See you next week. Bye.